Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to what is a horrific edition of Bull Blitz Uncut. I'm your host, Booga Peters, joined by my co-host, 80 Simons from across the pond.
Hey,
They're 5 hours ahead of us. Even though it's only 9 o'clock, it's nice to have that be the earliest time we've had in a long celebrate, if you will, or propose a post-game show. There's nothing to celebrate tonight. First play of the game, Trayvon Walker forces an intentional grounding, and it was all downhill from there. Chargers only muster up 2 field goals. Ends up being a 35-6 loss. 80, you watch this game. We'll start slowly from the beginning, and we'll, of course, invite in Kyle as long as he's able to join us. By the way, producer extraordinaire Kyle, I watched the entire game with him, and he's also a Jags media member. So the fact that we have him here watching the game with us and providing us with what it will be the most devastating coverage from an opposing fan. I hope y'all are tuned in, no matter who you are. 80, you look at this game from the get-go, it just didn't look good. Who showed up and who didn't? Was it everybody?
nobody showed up. Just nobody. Like from the O-line to the backs, just like it's just a horrible game, and they just beat the brakes off us again. It was another Giants game. It's another trap game where we went into it thinking, oh, we're going to win this one. This is going to be a walkover, and they got smacked in the mouth.
Over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
it started at the beginning. 80, we're not going to talk too much about the social media team for the Chargers because we know how much people love them. I love that they put out content for the tweens out there. I love that my daughter, before she aged out at about 14, loved it. My son was just too old for it by 10. I love that they do that content to try to build a fan base as a social media team. They want those young folks to be there, so they'll be there forever. They're talking a lot of shit. They lost me a couple of years ago when they did so before a Washington game. I can't remember if they were Redskins or Commanders then, to be quite honest. But I will say it turned me off on them. I love the anime because of my kids. They do some very funny things. They sneak in some funny jokes in the beginning of the year schedule shit, but it's a little goofy. And they talked a lot of shit about Jacksonville. After the fact, the last time the Chargers faced Jacksonville, it was one of the most embarrassing losses in Chargers history, if not the most embarrassing loss in Chargers history. You look at this game, 80, we're not going to get into positives. Let's just start tearing this team apart.
Yeah, Trevor Penning. Yeah, upgrading what we already had, right? No, he got benched in the third quarter.
For who?
For Austin Deculus.
The guy benched. That everybody wanted replaced, that we've all seen the PFF grades for. That's not the end-all, be-all. But you look at Austin Deculus being a player that they traded for, and then they go and trade for his replacement and Trevor Penning. They're like, nah, let's go back to Deculus. How disheartening is that as a person or an individual fan, player, as you are, to see that kind of thing happen and go, what is going on with the front office? Is this a Ortiz thing?
It's a Ortiz thing. Chargers fans wanted something to happen, and to me, I'm going to compare this to the Mekhi Becton situation. The Chargers fans were actually shouting, we want this, we want that. So he gives us what we want, just gives us the worst version of it. Like they bring in Becton. So many great guards were available earlier on in the free agency period. They got a guy that has been injured constantly for the last 2-3 years. And this one, in reality, at the trade deadline, there was maybe 2 guys that they could have got, Trevor Penning and Evan Neal. They're both reclamation projects. Now, we don't have the coaching staff to actually, retread the tires on these guys.
80, when you say that, specifically talk about the offensive line coach and Mike Devlin and his inability to develop offensive linemen, much less what we've seen him take these great running games from top 5 ranked running games. And then where do they end up, 80?
So Greg Roman's always had a top 10 running game, but he's always had a good offensive line. Mike Devlin has been given, this is his 3rd offensive line job. He's taken top 5 with the Jets and the Texans, and within a couple of years, they've been bottom half. Even in one case, they went from, I believe it was Texans, they went from 5th to 32nd in like 2 years. You've got to be a special kind of bad coach.
80, hold on. So let me do this for the fans. When you get hired into a new position in the NFL and you're already established at a very high, let's say like 80 just said, a top 5 position regarding the running game, and you literally over just a 2-season platform, reduce it to the bottom of the league or near the bottom of the league, that's obviously an issue. What we're starting to see is a coach like Jim Harbaugh and maybe a GM like Joe Ortiz, a little stuck in their ways. Mike Devlin is somebody they worked with before.
Yeah, it's the old boys network.
Yeah. Well, we won't get too far into that because I don't want to offend too many people, but I couldn't agree more. It's always the old white boys network, and welcome to America. And it sucks ass out here, especially in the NFL. But I'm not too afraid to say it, obviously, or it wouldn't have come out. Kyle Nash is. Go ahead, please.
It's like a band from the 70s and 80s getting the reunion tour or getting the band back together for one more really shitty show.
And you force it all the way. I will not say that neither one of us, and I trust this in full confidence, neither one of us are referring to the end tour of Ozzy Osbourne. Don't you fucking dare think that we're thinking that. But I will say, when you talk about some of these bands who are throwing out that cat who goes, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to refer to the band when he's not really saying words. We know exactly who I'm talking about. Music has lost its way. So have the Chargers, both on offense, defense, and special teams. I'd be remiss if I did not give this young man, this beautiful producer, a little opportunity to pop in here.
Young man and beautiful. I don't live where you are. I can't vote for you. I do not live in your district, Booga. Okay. I mean, listen, but no, and I'll be on shortly enough with my personal champion, Travis C. Holmes, on the Duval Dive to talk about this game as well. But I think the thing that steps out first and foremost, and granted, you guys have preached rightly so on and on about the offensive line. And granted, we did see Josh Hines-Allen come off of the milk carton against this group. I think that's completely fair. But the part that really knocked me over, and a point I made, I believe on Wednesday on the stream for the Duval Dive. That's right. I used the bell for that there, Booga. But the point I made was, and with no disrespect to the Chargers defensive front, they're not bad, but they're not the Texans. They're not the Rams. They're not the Seahawks. They're not Max Crosby and that Raiders front. This is a group that has dealt in the Jags that has dealt with 4 straight weeks of top or better, if not outright top tier in the case of the Rams, in my opinion. And certainly the Texans, as well as the stats would bear out, though some of that deals with the fact that they play in the AFC South, let's be honest. But now with a Chargers group that's middle of the pack instead of top tier NFL, the O-line for the Jags is starting to look better after having caught flack. And I don't know how much film necessarily you've had a chance to see of the Jags 80, but there were a lot of instances against the Raiders where even Travis Etienne is, kind of stiff arming and doing battling, dodging Crosby, who still burned the O-line in front of him with Jacksonville, right? So I think that element of the Jags O-line having an opportunity to shine was a factor here. And Trevor was a quarterback that was just supposed to not lose the game, and the running game took over for the Jags. I don't know if that's
there's a couple of guys I'm very familiar with on the Jags O-line. Walker Little, especially, because he was teammates at Stanford with Foster Terrell and Drew Dolman of the Bears. They were those three were all together. But yeah, there's a few occasions today where the Jags center, whose name completely escapes
Robert
me.
Hainsey, yes.
Yeah. He was able to just single-handedly shut down the anchor for that defense, Pierre Top, which allowed simple combo blocks to go 3-4 yards untouched, because the guard who would typically slide towards a nose tackle would be able to get upfield. So the running back would go 3-4 yards before they'd even see a white jersey. Yeah. And that 3-4 yards, if there's not a good wrap-up, that's going to turn to 7, 8, 9 yards. So that's where the running game comes in. And they ran the ball absolutely down their throat the whole game.
Yeah.
So something like 40 to 50 actual plays were runs. And just pulling up the box score, it's like, yeah.
And I mean, we got a guy like Basil Tootin who could run like a 4.3 40. By the way, the whole that really compounds.
Yeah, it's like a 4.32, and it's just like Jesus. Yeah, but he's also really small and really, really compact as well. Mm-hmm. So he's just it's like a little battering ram.
No, he God, is. This guy comes in just in time for you to make that point. Thanks.
Speaking of little, here we go.
Speaking of Listen, man, I've been with some of the strippers you've been with. I'm not worried about that.
Oh,
let me talk a little bit. Let me talk a little bit about Bashal Tootin. And
here
let
he
me point this
goes.
out too in advance. Kyle pointed out that those fumbles in college at Tulane were not necessarily that something felt its way into the NFL, because he has yet to do so, I believe. He does run with a little bit of power, and I promise you this, regardless of size of the human being running the football. I'm not talking about cock size. Enough. This is YouTube. I know they don't like that shit, but I'm not doing that here. I'm not. I will not. I will not. But I will say this right now. You can generate power with just literally smaller steps. Just have a little more gears going. I don't care how big you are. I got in the end zone every time I wanted to. Period. End. I literally did if I wanted to get in there, which was every time I did.
Another element too is they're fast enough, and we spotted this while we were watching the game here in the studio. Was when the Chargers would respond with shorter splits and short yard situation, they just had dudes fast enough to get outside before the rest of the front could react. So
we also talked about the Jags offensive line having shorter splits, and me saying, listen, this is going to be a fucking fake dive and opposite toss, one side or the other. And then they ran it, and lo and behold, it ended up 6. So, I mean, there were a lot of things that were disheartening about this game to me. I don't think the Chargers team, never the fans, pardon me. I don't think this Chargers team showed up, whether it was the coaching staff or the players. I don't care about the 10 a.m. start. I know they've flown a lot of miles. It's going to be the most miles that any team has flown throughout this season, regardless of whether or not they make the playoffs. Literally, if you look at the chart, nobody can top what they've done.
The Jags are 4th while we're having that conversation, but go ahead.
No, well, I mean, anytime you're on an opposite coast, sure. I think that's so fair to bring up. And it's not necessarily a point about this game for Chargers fans out there. This shit's not getting easier.
Yeah.
More division games. More tough opponents. They tried to show up to a game in Jacksonville where it just felt like they were completely not in sync from the very beginning. It was a 3-and-out to start the game, and that's the very first play again. It was Trayvon Walker not sacking the quarterback. Thank you, Kyle. It was the fact that he forced an intentional grounding. Although I would say that Quentin Johnson was close enough to the play to where I wouldn't have called it. Yes, I'm an official. I have been. Sorry, in the past. Not anymore, because the stripes aren't good for a fat kid. But, the Chargers mustering 2 field goals out of a 60-minute football game. That's embarrassing. Dicker, by the way, love what you do for the team, but the more often he's on the field, the less often that Justin Herbert is out there making plays. 80, when you look at this offense, whether it's against the Jags or anybody moving forward, it's too late to provide the offensive line the pieces that they need. This team is at a point to where everything that needed to be fixed had to be fixed prior to this season. And they obviously didn't do that, especially along the offensive line. How would you have, and don't do specific picks, I'm not doing that, but would there have been more of a focus on replacing not just the starting offensive lineman along the interior? Nobody's trying to replace Slater or Alt yet, ever, depending on who you are. But that interior line, everybody talked about the worst fans ever, the least intelligent Chargers fans ever. Can't be Bozeman, can't be Johnson, can't be anybody. And they bring in Becton, who's off injured. We saw the K tape. What happened?
It's like beating people. A tight end and O-line both needed to be. They both need to be at a point when it comes to a Greg Roman offense. Now, everybody moaned about bringing in the interior offensive line. And it was from the outset. It was just the GM, Joe Ortiz, said, "Oh, well, because we won so many games, we think we're in a good position."
Hold on, be specific about that, because what I love about that is there are very few media members within the Chargers media organization who actually challenge the Chargers at all. Chris Rim is trying. I appreciate and respect him so much. But Popper literally said to them, he said to Ortiz, that's exactly what I'm referencing. He said, "Do you think you've done enough with the interior offensive line?" In that's not verbatim, but his response was, "We were 11-5, Pop. I think that's pretty good." Correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I think that was at the combine. Now,
11 wins. Sorry, he said 11 wins, not 11-5. It's a 17-game season. Sorry.
I can understand not replacing Bozeman, and people are going to hate me for saying this, but last year's like draft guys, they weren't great. I mean, there was like Jared Wilson and then a lot of everybody else.
Now, yeah, but Jared Wilson's he's done a
Yeah.
phenomenal job there in New England. He's allowed a 2.8% pressure grade. As you know, as somebody who specializes in offensive line play and tight end play, for those of you who don't know, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah. So yeah, Jared Wilson and then a bunch of other bodies. Whereas because relatively early in the process, I think 5 guys who would have been 5 of the 6 top guys in the last draft, they all backed out. They all decided not to. They also decided to go back to school. So this draft coming up is going to be a really good one for centers. So like Jared Wilson and everybody else in the draft, then free agency, you're looking to overpay guys like Drew Dolman, who isn't necessarily a scheme fit, or
not necessarily. He might have been all right.
He's more built towards a Shanahan style offense, so you'd be paying a lot of money for a guy who's not a great fit. Then Kelly, who was with the Colts, he went across to the
Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, for a lot of money, and just hold on for another year. And I kind of as much as I don't like Bozeman, I understand why he's there, because he is the leader of. He doesn't wear a captain's badge, but he is the leader of that offense. So you need to look at a guy who can come in and kind of mask his inabilities for a year. You know, you can do that if you find the right guy, and it's just failed to do so.
80, allow me to interrupt and say this, or interject, or it's always interrupt when it's me. Are you trying to tell Charger fans they have another season to put up with Bozeman?
No, I think he's gone after this year. The deal that he signed was, I think it's 1.
They can get out of it easy.
Yeah, it's like a 1+1. I think I'm pretty sure Mekhi Becton's the same. His is a 1+1 year. So
we need to look into that, by the way. Hold on. Before we say that or put it out there all the way, if AD can confirm that, I know for a fact.
No, I did a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure there is a get out after this year with a very minimal cap. Yeah, there's a minimal cap.
Listen, hold on. Brian Cates just pointed out that Bozeman tried to draw a flag with his
acting. I saw that. It was when he kind of bootlegged out towards the flat on a pull route. And
with as horrible as the Academy has been performing as actors and actresses, depending on how you...
Yeah, he kind of did the arm flay.
It was just as bad as everything else that's out in the fucking theaters. Are we fucking kidding? It was horrible. Brian.
Yeah.
By the way, Brian is literally the only one listening right now.
Oh, it's one of those nights. It's not
love you. No, we don't care. It was a 35-6 game. It's not about this. Listen, if you really want to know why I do this show, I just want people to talk football with me, and they have to do it at a scheduled time. And I get one of the best O-line and tight end, literal knowledgeable people in the whole world. And oh, by the way, I get another tight end converted O-line guy and my producer extraordinaire, Kyle Nash, talking football. I do this for me more than you guys would like to admit, and it's why I will never care about the numbers until they start to matter. And when they do matter, we will do that for sure. For all of those of you who won gifts or jerseys or helmets and all that happy shit on the last episode of this show, they're coming out. We've gotten everybody's address except for one, and we'll be excited to send those all out. And I cannot wait to do so. I see Kyle ready to bring up a clip.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
why Kyle, I'm so mad you did that. It's so embarrassing. I'm talking about cats trying to win Academy Awards, and they show Bozeman 4 minutes after that going, my tampon fell out. I'm so sorry, Bozeman.
So just to confirm, I've looked up the numbers while you were talking. And we can cut him this year for a $1 million dead cap.
Oh, and there's and do we know about? Hold on. Do we know about how little $1 million in dead cap space matters regarding the Chargers cap space next year? It's going to be
it's minuscule. It's minuscule.
It's literally less than 1% of what the cap will be available. It's over $106 million at this point. We'll see what happens. I love that Brian Cates is still in here commenting, because what I'm going to try to do a better job of is making sure that we honor the comment section, and we'll get this set up for super chats down the line. We just haven't earned it. I feel better after bad games listening to others point out the stuff I was yelling at earlier. The good show will always be the ones that you're in alignment with when it comes to the team being bad. The rah-rah folks are going to do what they do. Listen, I tell you right now, there are so many shows out there you can listen to that will have so many positive spins on this game.
Oh, after seeing Twitter after the game, I'm not so sure about that one today.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
A little accountability from these podcasts. I kind of like it. So 80, listen, we stopped taking notes early. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to show that too hard because we were like, yeah. But you watch the T-Law untouched, barely touched, touchdown, scramble up the middle. The lack of interior push, the lack of pass rush, by the way. I don't think they got to T-Law too often, and he had a lot of time to sit back there. Had Herbert had that amount of time, I think it's a completely different game, with the exception being I still think they lose. I don't know what it is about the Jacksonville Jaguars and the now Los Angeles Chargers, but that playoff loss is still sitting there regardless of whether or not you were on the team. We watched a really frustrating game. They were really bad. Where are you most concerned? Is it the trenches on offense or the trenches on defense?
It's the trenches on the offense at this point, because we've got to play Max Crosby next.
Oh, God. Thank God there's a bye week.
Then the Eagles.
The Eagles. Awesome.
Yeah, then the Eagles. Then we've got, obviously, the Chiefs. We've got the Broncos, who have the best pass rush in the league. And, then we have a question of going to Danielle Hunter at the Texans.
Hold on real quick. Danielle Hunter, which if you did not pay attention during that incredible loss.
Yeah.
In the entire league, he's one of the best pass rushers in the last 5 years. And he kept switching teams. You're like, not a ton. Yeah. Well, it was at least 2. And it's just like, I don't know why and then you saw what he did against the Chargers in that game. He's not going to slow down. You have a Max Crosby, by the way, who didn't have a great game against the Chargers in his first attempt. These guys keep record 80. Let's speak to that for a minute because you played forever and you're trying to maybe even consider coming on again and playing a little more football. I'm trying to talk you into it. Don't you dare. Don't you confirm or deny anything.
No.
But I will say this. You see a player like that trying to find that levity in between being there and not being there. What do you feel about that kind of thing?
About Crosby, first game they shut him down. I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of the rah-rahing over Pipkins giving up 0 pressures. Yeah, they didn't see Tucker Fisk, Will Dissly, Hampton, Matlock. They were all beating the crap out of him just as much, and not a lot of those. Dissly's out, Hampton's gone. They're gonna have to scheme something else up to shut him down.
What do you think about a tight end like Will Dissly just being a fucking healthy scratch all the time? Because even though he blocks as well as a top, let's just say top 15. I used to say top 5 blocking tight end, but if he was, he would be in the game in a Greg Roman offense. They've literally, and we'll get to that in a second. But you look at Dissly's fall off. Your thoughts on that? And then I'm going to talk about the fact that Tucker Fisk was actually the starting tight end.
Yeah.
Over Aranda Gasset. But talk about Dissly first.
Dissly's a really good professional player.
James, don't apologize.
He's one of those guys that's like a C. He's like a C grade player as a career. He's a C grade tight end. He can do bits. He's serviceable. You can use him as a 2 or a 3. You know what you're going to get with him. But to have him as anything else other than that is, it's scraping the barrel. I'm not convinced he actually is a healthy scratch. I think there might be still something there. I know some statements from Jim Harbaugh this week saying, "Oh well, he just needs to carry on doing what he's doing, and he'll be back in the rotation quickly." And I don't believe that for a second.
Hold on. What else is Harbaugh? What else is Harbaugh supposed to say?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not trying to shit on a guy who actually, though he dropped a shitload of balls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what, the 3rd or 4th target for the team?
One thing he's not known for, if you're in the media space, he's not known for telling the truth about anything. I mean, a good case would be Mekhi Becton, like earlier in the year. It was working through something the whole year. Now, back in May, I was the first person to actually spot this, and they would never tell the truth. Oh, he's just working through something. He'll be back.
I called out the K-tape first. I put it up in the fucking group chat.
Yeah. Anyway,
we'll argue about it later.
Oh, there's no argument. It was me. I showed you the photo first. But he's hurt. It's like, it's kind of difficult with this administration to get
Hold on. Let back up. Explain.
Okay.
So, regardless of who had it first, explain when either one of us saw the kinesiology tape on there, the K tape. It's a March. The Chargers.com fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
not SeaWorld. Sorry. The social media team. They messed up putting that picture out there. And we saw the K tape. You're from, I mean, God, you're 6'11". Your joints are not always doing what they can do because you're a giant. You've used K tape before. You saw it. What were your initial impressions, and how did you feel comfortable moving forward as Becton, as an offensive lineman, as a starter on this offensive line?
I knew what was wrong with him straight away, because the manufacturer of the kinesiology tape, $9.99 on Amazon, you can buy an application guide. So I just mashed a picture from his knee up against my book, and it was like, oh, okay, so that's what's wrong with him. It wasn't difficult, but when it comes to like kinesiology tape, it's used for treating injuries, and you can just match up what was wrong with his knee with the book that I have, and it's not difficult. But they just wouldn't tell the truth, and it's ridiculous. It's like it
was you.
It was me, because I found the photo. Yeah,
I'm very sad right now.
Yeah, so the photo that they published was a right tackle. It was the right side of the line with Becton and Alt
at right guard.
Yeah. And all I did was just like, hang on, what's that underneath his knee? Because it didn't look like his knee brace that he would typically wear. And I saw the case here and was like, fuck. Yeah. Because you knew straight away what it was. And that's when I zoomed into the group chat and said, yeah, this isn't going to be good. So, he's hurt. And they've never been honest about it. So,
I mean, how could they? When you sign a 6'8", 360-pound dude that you're hoping can fill in for 2 years, $20 million. He has a decent out, as you mentioned, by the way. I don't remember the exact number as far as him being able to get out of it.
I've got it. It's $2.5 million dead cap next year. So his essentially you're going to wipe your nose with the signing bonus. So his base is 4.9, roster bonus 2.5, signing bonus 2.5. You can cut him and you'll only lose 2.5.
So as much as 80 was able to say, I love you so much, that he was the one that noticed the K-tape. I wanted nothing to do with Becton in March.
Yeah. But
just making sure everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Because it was very clear. I made it clear. Sorry about that little thing. I didn't want anything to do with him. It's not, but then I tried to do the Charger thing, as you do as anybody who supports this team. And by the way, I was doing this, just big support and prayers to our boy, Kyle Nash, producer extraordinaire. He's going to go run the Duval dive after he spent 5 hours with me today. 80, listen, you and I can argue back and forth, but nobody's here for that until we fight each other. And then they'd love to see it. Maybe with swords, probably. Your reach is too long. That's stupid. You're right. The Chargers defense, the interior D-line, Tart got bullied all game long.
Yeah.
I don't know that we expected that, but is this the fat guys up front get tired the further into the season? And do they have the necessary depth to really make the poignant plays on defense that really stop the kind of things that happened today in Jacksonville? It was an embarrassing game.
I mean, they only actually have 5 defensive linemen now on the roster because of all the injuries that they've had. They've got Jamori Caldwell, who they refuse to start. A Boygby, who people like him. I don't.
Why?
I just like there's something.
Why do people like him?
I think people look at the box score and he got 2 sacks. He got 2 tackles. It's like,
he got bullied every other play of the game. I swear to God, he was set up by everybody else along the D line.
Yeah, he's not a player that I like, and I don't. Sometimes you just get a gut feeling about a player when you watch some tape and it's like, okay. And Boygby's one of those guys. It's like you watch him and it's like, and Sean Ham today, he was completely AWOL. I barely saw anything of him, and he's been the playmaker. Man. He's been a massive playmaker. He's
the run stopper. He's the one who creates enough pressure in the pass stopping game, if you will, to where everybody else gets to feast off that. Did anybody whose name was missing from everything today? By the way, I can name several players on defense. What happened to Thule?
Yeah, Thule, Boygby, Deshaun Han, Naquan Jones, like they're all AWOL. completely.
You cannot have that happen. Listen,
No.
whether if they want Thule to not fit the box score, if you will, then he needs to get up to 290, like we've talked about forever.
Yeah, I actually did tweet about this week. Like, he needs to be. He was brought in to do a particular job, and that defensive coordinator and head coach is gone now. So he needs to reestablish a role because he's not an edge rusher. He's not built like one.
So, hold on, stop right there. Let educate the fans here. When you don't have that toolbox to be an edge guy, but you have the ability to put on the weight and still be effective, why are the Chargers not deciding to opt for that? Because we saw what he could do at 290 when he was at USC.
Yeah, USC was 290 pounds. So he was also incredibly good at doing what he did. So he was brought in to essentially be the long-term replacement of Morgan Fox in Staley's 3-4 defense.
And a Staley defense in a 34.
Yeah, in a 3-4 defense.
And it's a Staley 34, by the way, different.
Yeah. So essentially you'd be lining up over a tackle and you'd be doing what you call the backside 2 gap, where you can go either way from there, but you've got enough power, enough explosiveness. Aaron Donald moved from D tackle to end to do the same thing. And Thule would have done that. Morgan Fox was doing that. Again, there's a clip I put up this week of him against the Dolphins on Twitter, at AD Simons on Twitter. Scroll down, you'll see it. Lining up over the tackle and essentially like cutting 2 gaps over, coming around the guard and sacking. And that's what he's best at. He's not a good edge rusher. But you need an edge rusher. You need inside play. You need outside plays. Like, there's no real clear defined goals, and they're not using people to their best ability at the moment.
So what's funny to me is I love that you bring that up, because I look at this offense and they're just kind of figure it the fuck out. I don't know what you do with an offensive line like that. I really don't. This is, you made the bed, now fucking lay in it.
Well, what I would do is get a fast passing game. Last week against the Steelers, Herbert was getting the ball on average 2.25 seconds from snap to ball away. And
Roman is not consistent enough to be able to make it up in his mind that he can stay the same way week to week. He's always going to try to be different. You saw the lack of a running game early. You saw the weird the play calls. Yeah. This was a total loss. This was all 3 phases, all the players, all the coaches, all the coaching staff. It was horrible. That doesn't provide a lot of hope for the fans moving forward. But that being said, as much as I want to pretend that this has nothing to do with the fact that the Chargers shit the bed against a team that they had their worst loss, maybe, other than that Patriot loss in 2006 in the playoffs.
I remember that one. Cam Newton.
We got so many. We've got so many. He didn't mean Cam Newton. He meant
no. Cam Newton. He put 50 on us a couple of years ago.
Yeah. That was in New England. No. That was the first time that everybody started to catch on to the Staley thing, and I was like, y'all are just getting on board. That's too sad.
Yeah.
Listen, what we don't do during this show, there are only a few of us in here. If you have yet to do so, please like and subscribe. We would like to get more likes. We would like to get more subscribers. 80 and I literally, and even when Kyle's in here, we just kind of talk football, and I think we kind of do this show more for ourselves than anybody else. But once we get all those jerseys sent out and all that happy shit, I hope people start to understand we're not just a show that knows football. I understand that there are so many people who go to these games. I love it. Thank you. Support the Chargers in person. The people who know the most about the game sit in the press box or at home. Or on the sideline. Does everyone understand that? I love the differentiation that some of the quote unquote Bolt fam, everybody's Bolt fam, whether they like it or not. I love that they're trying to make this delineation in between the people who show up to the games and the people who are supposedly real Chargers fans. Shut the fuck up. Yes, I've been to more Padres games than I have Chargers games, but they play 162 a year, at least when I was back there in San Diego. So I went to a lot of baseball games. I went to the dog track, and then I was at Jack Murphy. That's the Murph.
Yeah,
that's not Qualcomm here. We do that on social media for fun because that's what feeds the masses. That was the Murph. We've got a lot of experience in the show. 80, you're across the pond. Talk about your experience just supporting this team, and then we'll get back to the game. But I really want people to know what we're about.
So I started supporting this team when I was in college. So I was I was like an all-state level rugby player. But when I went to college, I actually couldn't get onto the rugby team. So this big guy from Texas recruited me to play football, which I did. So I got involved in football, and through like going to socials, going to local bars, having the bars sponsor us if we turn up and get X amount of people into the bars, and doing community work, I ended up becoming a Chargers fan. I bought a Chargers jersey, a Phillip Rivers jersey, for £10. So at the time it was probably about $16 or $18 back in like 2004, 2005. I ended up buying the Chargers jersey and just became known as a Chargers fan. And that's where my fandom started. Bought a jersey.
That's a real good time to start, by the way.
Yeah. Because Phillip Rivers came in, and it was a Rivers jersey, which I still own.
Yes.
So I bought a Rivers jersey. A couple of years later, I bought a white Reebok Gates jersey, which I may or may not have torn up when he failed the drugs test and got banned.
Oh man, that was a rough day for it. Hold on, I like that. Can we talk about it? Let's hold on. This is that show. That was devastating. I'm literally sitting in may she rest in peace, one of my best friends of my entire life, Red Vaughn. Love you so much, girl. I miss you so much. Your family didn't always take me in, but you always did. There were some rough and tough bikers and other people who did not approve of the Booga P, and because this short gal who was about 5'2", bad as fuck, just a bad bitch, man. She was so cool, tough as shit. She could tear anybody up. Didn't matter if you were male or female. I just want to make sure that I've never done this on the Bo Blitz show. I just want, if you have not heard it, Red Vaughn, I miss you. Toughest gal I've ever met in my entire life, other than my mother. And you helped me so much in so many different ways. A lot of times just by buying beer and inviting me into your home and let me play pool and just let me fall into my spot when it came to figuring out what I wanted to do as a show. You were there in the beginning, and I'm sorry that you're not here in the end. I miss you, and I hope that you get it. And I'm going to do one more. Thomas Powell, man. This is a tough one. It's hard for me to go to these places and advertise and try to talk people into being on the show and be a sponsor, because I used to go to these places, these venues with you. I'm not at liberty to do so anymore because obviously you're not here, but it's different. I when you were there, I was still me, and I felt like I could have done it on my own, but now I'm walking to these places and I don't know what I have to sell, because I don't have that guy that really has my back no matter what. That person, excuse me. But it was you, Tom, and though you're not here with us right now, I don't give a fuck ever, and I will never, how many people don't like me giving credit to the people that I love, adore, and miss. Thomas, I cannot tell you how much I miss you. I love you so much, man. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you're resting in peace. And you had one of the roughest lives I've ever been a witness to, and I don't know that people know that. I'd also like to do the same and give a shout out to Joe Gandelman, who was his foster father for literally until the end of his life. We're going to bring 80 back on stage and get off this somber bullshit, except we're going to talk about a 35-6 loss. How do the Chargers move forward? 80 bye week. Big time to get healthy. Your thoughts?
The Raiders are a team that we know quite well, so you're just going to have to go back to what works. They're having a relatively bad season, so to make the playoffs comfortably, you need 10 wins. The Chiefs are coming back. The Broncos and Chiefs play today, so you have to see what the outcome of that, and then try and figure it out. Because now it's pretty much a scramble now for 10 wins. We need to find wins from somewhere, and when we've got the Texans, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Broncos, they're all really good pass rush teams. Not upgrading this O-line and coaching this O-line effectively is going to kick us in the backside at the back end of this season. And if you don't get things sorted now during this offseason, during the bye week, your season's going down really quickly, because the pass rushes that we're going to face week in, week out now, they're coming after 10. They're coming after him, and we don't have the personnel to stop that now. So it could be 3-4 losses, and if we do squeak the playoffs, you're doing it on a downward trend, and again, then it's just it doesn't bode well.
It definitely doesn't bode well regarding how the media will perceive what the Chargers have to do. I will say this: when I look at this Chargers team for this year, and I think AD was on the same boat with me. It's not this year; it's probably next year. Lots of cap space and whatever. AD and I are kind of hey, Brian, with the update on the Denver KC score. Big clutch thing. Brian, I'll throw in a couple extra things with the jersey I sent you. By the way, I'm going to surprise you. It'll probably fit somebody else, by the way. You're big like everybody else in the chat, except for me. When I look at this, the Chargers game, and I'm over it and all that happy shit, who are we rooting for here in the Denver KC game? I mean, Denver has the better record, but do we really want KC to be better and have a higher position towards achieving their top spot?
No, I'm rooting for a meteor. Just take them both out. I'm rooting for like some sort of
Atlas 3i.
Yeah,
the problem is I think that takes out all of us.
Yeah. I'm rooting for like Bane from Batman just to take the whole stadium apart and just fuck all of them.
We have by the way, I love this real quick. I want to interject. We have James and Brian in here. Like we've got the right crew to say whatever the fuck we want. Brian, by the way, who doesn't put any memes in the chat, Brian, I'm asking you to be the official Bolt Blitz group chat meme provider. They can nothing political. You can push a couple of boundaries, just nothing political. Okay, regardless of what the people in my group chat know about me, just nothing political. Because fuck all that. Feelings get hurt. We watch what happened to a former player, if you will, known as Moose. We don't do that in the group chat because we're not all going to agree on that, but we can agree on Chargers football. It was a horrible game where the Chargers literally allowed the Jaguars to be made out to look like their entire season is now turned over. They have a chance to be phenomenal. Why am I saying this? Because Kyle is not here any longer. What do they do moving forward? Again, it's a bye week and then the Raiders, but what do you do moving forward, AD?
Rest up, get healthy, and prepare for the next game. Because again, with the schedule that we've got coming up, so the final 6 games of the season, you've got Raiders, Max Crosby, known entity. You're gonna have to figure out a way to shut him down and get past that. That's a very winnable game.
It is a winnable game, but what I really want you to do as you progress through the rest of the schedule is that's a real problem for this Chargers offensive line. Max Crosby literally changes the game for their team and of course the Chargers.
Yeah, because you have to focus so much onto him. So it'll be a case of Tucker Fisk. You're gonna have to bring Disley back to help out with keeping him quiet. Trey Pipkins, Scott Matlock. That should be enough in this game. We know what they are. We know we've already played them earlier in the season, and they haven't really evolved or developed. They're still a really bad team. They've lost Jacoby Myers to the Jags, who we played today. He's probably their best deep threat. So outside of the fake tight end Brock Bowers, they don't really have a lot. I'm going to call him the fake tight end because I abhor people calling him.
He's a Rondé Gaston senior.
Yeah, he's just really, really tall, Rondé Gadsden. He's a fake tight end. So you've got him. But then, because the Raiders is a very winnable game. So then you've got the Eagles pass rush. They've just added Jalen Phillips this week.
I know. And by the way, he forced a fumble. He had a great stat line in his first game with the Eagles, by the way.
So that's...
The Chargers already spent money on Odafe Owe. So what I like to do is provide, a little context to what Chargers fans get to hear out there. Well, yes, the Chargers would have been very, very sweet, if you will, to make a move to get Jalen Phillips. The fact that they had already spent a lot of money on Odafe Owe kind of took them out of that sweepstakes. But that being said, a speed rusher added to this Chargers defensive line would have been real nice because we've talked about Thule being more of a 290 guy than what is he? 267, 270.
He's listed at 260 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I might add about 5 to 6 to that, but whatever. I'm not going to say the other numbers past the 5 to 6 because fuck you, kids. I'm not giving you that.
Then it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs.
Awesome. So do I have it right though? There is a bye next week, and then Raiders.
Yes.
Chiefs.
Yeah. We have the Chiefs.
So rest
Yeah.
during the bye. But listen, when I look at a bye week, I look at an opportunity to get better in all facets. Obviously, we're past the trade deadline. 80, knowing two of the hugest, if you will, that's the worst word I've ever used, the biggest deficiencies on this Chargers team. What do you say to the offensive line and the tight end group? Those are your specialties. Going into a week, it doesn't matter who they're playing, but the Chargers are now 7-4.
Yeah. You've got to figure out a way to minimize their deficiencies. So it's going to have to be like they can run the ball. They absolutely can run the ball on people, but knowing how
is it a factor of establishing it early? You see him run the ball on first down every time to open the game.
You almost need to go against conventional wisdom now, because everybody knows that they can't pass block. So you're just going to stack the box, and you'll get to Herbert really quickly. So I would say now they need to figure out a way of getting people open at the short and intermediate. You don't need to go long. Like if Herbert's holding the ball long enough for somebody to get 15, 20 yards down the field, it'd be a miracle. He's getting sacked in the backfield by the time that's happened. So you need to figure out crossing routes, option routes, spacing routes, just a way of getting people open on those shorter routes so that he can get rid of it. Like with the Steelers game, 2.25 seconds, like 2.5 seconds. They need to be able to get the ball out quickly to keep the defense honest. Then the defense, the linebackers, the safeties, they're going to step back 7 to 10 yards when they're doing that, which then opens up the field for the running game. Now, conventional wisdom would be you run the ball to go over the top. Well, we're going to have to do things the other way around now. You're going to have to pass to keep people backwards, to spread that defense out so you can get a bit more space to run the ball. Because
I'm totally with you. No, listen, if you're not creating space, whether it's as an offensive line in the passing game or in the running game, we saw that happen today. Josh Hines Allen, listen, producer extraordinaire Kyle, who is actually hosting and producing the Duval Dive right now in accordance with what we're doing as we produce and run the show. He made it clear Josh Hines Allen had disappeared.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker had been making plays, but not like today. The Chargers offensive line is so bad, and I'm going to do this, and I need you to fucking back me up on this. By design, the offensive line, they did not pick for Alt and Slater to go out.
No.
But you picked Zion, and he's had a better year than most people think. But Bozeman and then Becton, the K-tape, it doesn't matter who said it. I didn't want anything to do with him early. It doesn't matter about that kind of shit. He's not playing consistently. And when he is in there, he comes out early. This offensive line, when you have a guy like Justin Herbert, you look at the roster build that Joe Ortiz has been a part of. Yeah, he literally was lucky enough to have a quarterback like Justin Herbert be the guy, the MC, if you will, of his organization. And he said, no, we're good enough with Bradley Bozeman. Let's sign him to a 2-year extension. Is that a shot in the face? Or is it really just we're going to figure it out? And if he can't, then we'll figure something else out.
I think it's the latter. It's going to be a case of figuring them out because, like I say, when they gave him that contract of 2 years, they structured it as a 1+1. So looking at last year's draft and looking at the free agents, they were either going to overpay on somebody who isn't very good or draft somebody who isn't very good. So you keep what you know and who is the leader of that offense and try and put complementary pieces in to minimize him. They didn't do that. So I would have loved to have seen a guard come in other than the injured Becton. Yeah, I mean,
who did we talk about? We talked about so many. We don't need to go over specific names. We talked about Will Hernandez and some goofy shit, but that was so late. He didn't even get signed until the season started. But they could have done this shit early, right?
Yeah, you could have had a lot better depth in the entire, especially in the interior O-line through the draft. I mean, there's guys on practice squads that would be an upgrade on what we have. Garrett Dellinger, I think he's with Cleveland now, but he was with the Ravens quite early. He was the starting guard for LSU. He's an exceptional player.
And just trying to figure it out on another squad. Yeah. But listen, I love what James just said right here. But it wasn't as O-line centric or competitors welcome as they said.
Yeah.
How tired of you? I mean, God damn it, 80. You're not just a giant offensive lineman. Like, you really specialize in that shit. You work really hard in it. You just really got done doing some shit with Duke Manyweather, who is the O-line guy. You did that at over 40 years old, and you're sitting there across the pond, and you watch this offensive line, and you see what James Allen just said, but it wasn't as O-line eccentric or competitors welcome as they said. How true is that, and can you argue at all?
Oh, yeah, you can argue with that all day. I hope the next time those words come out of Ottie's or Harbour's mouth, Daniel Popper absolutely chews their heads off. Like, if Popper doesn't get in their ass for that, I will be.
He's a bitch. I'm so sorry. He's so set up right now. God.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
I didn't have that. Let me hold on. Allow me to do this, and this will take 30 seconds on my soapbox. I was not in a position as an independent. I didn't have SB Nation. I didn't have all these other. I didn't have Fansided. I didn't have ESPN. I didn't have ABC. It was Booga Peters. It was just Bolt Blitz and Booga Peters. It was just me. It was literally me. And of course, Tom eventually, but it was just me. I could not talk anybody into doing anything that I wanted them to do or thought they should do, or it didn't matter. Nobody gave a fuck except for the millions and millions of people who tuned in to every article that we wrote. Like, I see these, I'm going to say this. I see these people posting their numbers. I like it. I love it, actually. 2 million views in 2025. That's adorable. And then I see another, page post 3 million views in 2025. My old man app, Facebook, we're over 1 million views and insights per month. Nobody knows what the fuck I'm doing. It's not working the way I want it to, but I'll fucking figure it out. We're going to get the right people in there. We're going to figure out how we get this thing going. Chargers Twitter is a fucking mess, as everybody knows, especially after a 35-6 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a tough spot for a lot of Chargers fans. And 80, we can talk for fucking forever about this game. But what do the Chargers need to do during the bye week, in your opinion, to make this team formidable moving forward, other than the things that they can't fix because they didn't fix them in the offseason?
Get healthy. That's the only thing you can really do. The guys who are healthy scratches, get them healthy, get them on the field, because you're going to need every playmaker available to you. And you're going to have to rotate people around and go game by game and just be better at your preparation. You have a scouting department, you have an analytics department, you have enough tape on players now to figure out where to attack people. And you've got to get better. 10 games into a season, and we're still saying this. It's just like, this isn't a team ready to win. Year 3, there's no excuses. Year 3, coaches are starting. Year 3, coaches have got to get fired.
Hey, listen, you're gonna love this. I know. And by the way, I know that AD specializes in O-line and tight end, but nobody ever puts you on the D-line. That's their fault. You see what Brian just said. Also, I'm tired of seeing Matlock miss a block and to be the one standing there to pick up Herbert. It's the Bradley Bozeman against the Gator Roll game all over again. Every time we see Matlock. When does that shit fucking end? Like, when does the Matlock experiment end?
That pisses me off so much. I mean, it took a fit. Scott Matlock, Bradley Bozeman, they're D&E rated players that very similar to what Chargers have. They have a lot of guys who will come in, do a good job for a couple of years. Then when they decide to leave the Chargers, they almost disappear off the face of the planet. If they didn't have Chargers contracts, they'd be working in Target for most of them. Yeah, it was Scott Matlock.
Well, God, if they could hit a target, they might block somebody.
They'd be working in Target or Dick's Sporting Goods if they're half decent. But just like there's so many Chargers players. We get fed up with this. They're D&E grade players that the Chargers media team really love, and they'll do the community work and they'll go out and do stuff. But you're paid to play football.
That does not win football games. No. And honestly, that's a really good way to fucking finish up what we're doing here. I'll tell you right now, it's an embarrassing showing. This is one for the ages, if you will. Chargers lose 35-6. 80 did a really good job of showing and letting folks early in the show, which I really appreciate because we've got to do better. And I learned something from him You can find him on Twitter where? Find 80 Simons everywhere. 80, tell them where they can find you, please, sir.
Yep, at 80 Simons on Twitter. Most of my
they don't know what that means.
Yeah, at 80 Simons on Twitter.
At ADYSIMONS. 80 is spelled ADY.
At some point, we need to have like handles like down here somewhere between you and producer Kyla, or at least, or I'm gonna have to have a poster made from a wall.
I specialize in running my mouth and being mean. What I can do is let producer Kyle know that we definitely need to do that because every other show does that. So I can't believe that you're the one to point it out, other than I wanted to as well. He's out there, by the way, hosting, producing, and all the other shit he does for the Duval Dive, and celebrating the fact that though he is the producer of Bolt Blitz Uncut, he is also the guy who covers the Jaguars. So he's out there celebrating another Chargers Jaguars debacle. 80, you talked about where they could find you. When you talk about what you do on social media, and then we're going to close this off right now, and I'm going to go to bed. What are your specialties? We talked about O-line and tight ends, but your roster building, I think, is important to talk about.
Yeah. So like away from this computer screen, I coach. I do a lot of tape for people. I have a lot of different roles. Some I do get paid for, some I don't get paid for. I have.
Trust me, I get you.
Yeah. So I have a lot of roles, and I genuinely have a lot of conversations with NFL people, like multiple times a year, about O-line play. I love it. So, but I come in here as a fan to talk about stuff. Obviously, I can't divulge what I talk about to people here, but it's I'm
gonna interrupt, and rightfully so for once. 80 is not just a fan; he's a player. He's a player who's coached. If he could actually see the game from the sideline, he would also be an official, but he doesn't want to be on the sideline. He just wants to be out there. If he's on the sideline, he's trying to make players better. I'm telling you, if you're not following at ADYSIMONS on Twitter, you're losing out. There are so many people running their fucking mouths on Twitter. 80 is working his ass off. He's talking to shows he doesn't want to talk to. He's doing whatever he can to expand his portfolio. And if you're not doing that, then what you should do is follow him just to learn how to do it. 80, I couldn't be more proud of you. I'm so excited about where your future goes. It's not because of Bolt Blitz. It's solely because of you. You really have a unique perspective, and you really provide something to the group that not a lot of us can do. We have a lot of own linemen in that group, but you're in a unique spot to where it's not just that you're across the pond, it's that you work with Duke, Manyweather, and I hold a lot of credence towards that, and I hope you'll let him know so that I can actually fucking talk to him at some point. 80, any closing words before you leave the show?
Oronde Gadsden is not a tight end. Stop calling him one.
You motherfucker! That I thought you might say. By the way, Booga Peters is all right or some shit, but you're like, no, I just want to make sure I get my point.
Okay. I'm going to talk shit now. So, like, if anybody sees one of the sacks that Herbert took today, one of the many, they lined Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall draft pick a couple of years ago, up against Oronde Gadsden, this 235-pound stick insect who's 6'5".
Hold on, say it again. Stick insect. I love it.
Yeah, he's like a stick insect. He's
like a praying mantis.
Yeah, he's just 235 pounds, and he's just all arms and legs. It's just like, come on. He's not like he's not. People call him a tight end. He's not. He's a big slot receiver. And again, one of the many things that I will criticize the Joe Ortiz for this year is not going out and getting a true number 1. Now this year, Zach Ertz and from the Ravens, Mark Andrews are available. 2 or 3 years, you're going to have to overpay them a little bit to come to California because, taxes are shit. I understand.
Yeah, get out. Yeah. Get out now.
Yeah, pay. 2-3 years, you're going to have to overpay them. I mean, Zach Ertz will be near 40 by that point. But Mark Andrews is 29. You could probably get 2 or 3 usable years out of him.
Do you like him as a functional blocker who can get open?
Yeah. Yes, I do. He's serviceable. And with what's coming up in this next draft, I think there's a guy out of Cincinnati.
I know a couple good tight ends, or at least one from Cincinnati. That one guy, Travis Kelce, turned out all right.
who's got like a 3rd or 4th round grade on him right now, and there's a kid who's probably going to be an undrafted free agent out of Missouri. Those guys can block. There isn't a lot. They're all like slot receivers. They're all tall, skinny kind of guys that will be like Y slots.
With you, James.
Yeah. So, yes, you need to find. Yeah.
What do they do? Hold on, no. So let's go even further, and then I'm gonna get you off the air in about 5 minutes. Easy. Do they find a true blocking tight end or somebody who can be that multiple force like an Andrews who can do both? Or do they really augment this offense to do the new Roman style offense where they're just more wide receivers and figure out where we go from there?
I would probably go for somebody like Mark Andrews first. He would be my number 1 tight end. So 12 personnel with Oronde Gadsden as your number 2.
12 is 1 running back and 2 tight ends. For those of you who are listening, listen. Every time you listen to it, I want you to hear the personnel this way, guys. R is running back, and it comes before T. When you hear the personnel, if you hear 12, you have 1 running back, 2 tight ends. R is for running back. T is for tight ends. When you hear 12, when you hear 13, that means 1 running back, 3 tight ends. We got you. And then the rest are offensive linemen because you have to have 5 no matter what. There's obviously some guy to throw the ball and then whoever else is left.
Yeah. So, 12 personnel with a proper tight end and a Oronde Gadsden. That could work. But, yeah.
Somebody's got to be a Y slot. He's just a Y slot. Can we say that? We haven't said it yet.
I mean, there's so many good like tight end rooms across the league with say the Steelers. They've got Pat Fryermuth. He's their like clear number 1. You've got Johnny Smith, who he is more of the Y slot personnel, and then
he is Y slot and he catches balls like he's legit.
And Darnell Washington. He's your bulldozer. He's your number 3.
He's your 6'8" guy who's an extra tackle.
Yeah, and then you've got Buffalo. For my money, Buffalo's probably got the most complete.
Dawson Knox,
Dalton Kincaid, and Jackson Halls, who. I love Jackson Halls so much. He racked up something ridiculous, like over 30 pancake blocks last year. He would rather play fullback than catch passes. And
I can't take that from you. That was yours first. By the way, 80 introduced me, if you will, to Jackson Hawes so early in the process that the more I watched him, I really don't know how you found him.
Yeah,
it was so rough early and raw, but you see things I don't see when it comes to tight ends and O-line.
Yeah. And then when it comes to like Theo Johnson a couple of years back out of Penn, Mason Taylor out of LSU, these are the guys I'm always finding. Like, I read up on so many people and watch so much tape during the year. So these guys, I'm very set on my tight end, and I'll probably try and find the guy earlier this year and be like, that's the guy I want. Yeah.
And that's what you'll go for. God damn it! And what I love about this show. It does not matter who listens because as long as the 80 and I get to talk football, I'm better for it, and I hope eventually he will be too. Go ahead.
So when the season's over and the dust settled, we can come back on here on a Sunday and talk about positions and who we want as a free agent, who we like in the draft. We can do that week in, week out.
I was ready to cut this show off, but boy, I have so many bye-week specials coming.
Oh, yeah.
Former MMA stud, badass motherfucker, Danny Martinez. He's already agreed to a show. What I have to tell him is I don't remember the last conversation we had, so I'm going to have to figure that out because he literally hit me up on Messenger on the spot. I'm like, hey, just touching base again. You want to be on a show? And he called me. Let me fall back to a story where I fucked up the most cool interview I could have had as a nobody. I had reached out to Lorenzo Neal in 2011. Bolt Blitz had just started. I mean, just started. Brand new. We didn't know nobody. But that cat had followed me. So, I followed him back on Twitter. I said, I need you on the show. I can't wait to talk to you. Here's my phone number. He called me literally right away. And I was like, I don't have any questions for you. He's like, all right, cool, man. We'll figure it out. Never heard from him again. For all you young journalists out there, before you sign up anybody for an interview, have all the questions, enter them that you can do in a quick way, and then make sure you have some special ones in the end. 80, I know you've talked to a lot of NFL players, You've talked to NFL coaches. You've talked to so many different facets of this NFL game. What's one time you fucking threw it under the bus and you just kind of jacked it up? Come on, you had one.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna name the player, but
don't do that. Don't.
There's one particular player who I almost ended up having a fight with.
Oh, I wish I had one of these.
Yeah. Like when I was in that particular city, it was very likely that I was going to go.
He did.
Yeah, when I was going to be in that particular person's city, it was very likely I was going to go into a gym and throw down with him.
So it's in San Diego for those.
No, it's not.
Oh, bullshit.
No, it's a former Chargers player who doesn't live in San Diego. I was very
I won't bust you out. We'll talk about it. I know exactly who it is.
But I was at one point going to fight this guy.
By the way, my money is on 80 1,000 times. I don't care how much he puts on his fake ass fucking network, his fake ass fucking bullshit. All that Andrew didn't work out. Good job on 39.5 sacks. We're not talking about him necessarily. But my money's on 80 no matter what. We've talked for so long. You put up with me. Kyle put up with me. Like literally, producer extraordinaire Kyle watched the Chargers Jags game with me. That was fun to do. As him being a guy who covers it. Oh no, it wasn't. It was horrible. It was absolutely fucking horrible. But god damn it, we try to hang in there for everybody who pays attention to what the fuck we're doing. Hold on. I gotta address this too. James Allen said, DJ, as in Derwin James, where was he?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I don't recall his name being called out at all.
Once, not me.
I may have been on the.
RJ Mickens in there.
Well, I may have been in the bathroom. We'll say that
during his one play.
I don't know. I went to the fridge to go grab a beer and missed the interception. So.
Hold on. I love that Brian Case just added that because he's a levity guy too. He's always and thank you for your spiritual onset. That helps me honestly because he helps me be regrounded, if you will. DJ did look hurt. And I think every player on the Chargers is fucking hurt, especially Justin Herbert. But this is a long season. Chargers are now 7-4. I had them at 9 to 10 wins. So. As much as the schedule gets tough, 80, you look at the remainder of the schedule, 9 to 10 wins. How confident do you feel in that? You have the tablet. I know that you're there. I'm going to buy you as much time as I can unless you're ready to take over.
I've got it right in front of me. I'm always
go ahead, brother.
We've got Raiders, probably a win. Eagles, no.
No.
Chiefs, no. Cowboys. Maybe
is a big one.
That's 9 wins.
Is the Cowboys game at home or away?
I believe it's 80. It's to Jerry World, so that's on the road.
All right.
Yeah. So,
I like them on the turf.
Yeah, I remember the playoff game that we went to, and Keenan Allen ran them off the field.
What was it? 200 yards or 10 receptions or something stupid?
It was ridiculous amount.
That last juke he hit to get in the end zone. By the way, I still got that.
Yeah. Then we've got. The Texans, yeah, I'm not liking that. I think that the edge rushers are gonna eat us alive. Then to finish up the season, we've got to go to the Broncos. I don't see 3 wins in that game. I think 2, which would be about right because
and James is with you in the comment section. Of course, he's another fellow former lineman and just giant man who just works better than every man I've met. James is not just in there for his football acumen in the Bull Blitz group chat. He just sets a great example for every man in there, and we appreciate him being a part of anything. I'm going to send you a picture of your Rivers jersey that I should have sent you like 4 months ago. I understand that people are talking about my giveaways being fake. I just forget everything. As soon as I do a show, I'm trying to take care of my family. When people don't respond and do things in the chat, I'm really trying to get acclimated to not talking to anybody. And it's hard for me because I've talked to, what would be a lot of people in the past, but what's not hard about it is the people that I get to talk to actually care. That matters to me. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a great time though. Not a good time. That dumb shit is, oh, I'm here for a good time. Motherfucker, you were born. It's already a goddamn fucking good time. I'm here to make it the fucking best that I could ever make it. It doesn't matter how bad it's happened for me. It just matters how good I can make it happen for you. 80 Simons, one more time, like he even did with Taylor from the Electric Edge. At 80 Simons, but I'm going to spell it for him. ADYSIMONS. Is there one account that you have that has an underscore at the end?
No, that is the one.
I thought your Insta did. I'm sorry.
No, it's what I have one account. That's the only one. Anybody else calling themselves that is not me. Yeah.
I mean, listen, they're on a lot of 6'7". What do you weigh right now? 6'7". Jesus Christ, 6'11".
325 about now.
I'll be honest. So he's 347. And I appreciate that about him because his beard is incredible. And yes, I did give him a little credit before that. If you guys are looking to follow me, you already know how to do it. But I'm at Booga Peters on every platform except for Facebook, where those motherfuckers put me at Dave Peters because I had so many women I slept with saying he's not Booga, and they reported me and they just forced me to be Dave or David Peters. I appreciate y'all, especially those who slept with me, and those who tune in, and those who are 80 Simons. This has been a weird end to the show, and I'm just kind of do what I want to do. 80, this will be fun during the bye week. Do you have any special guests or anything you have lined up? Because I
no, like a lot of the people who I kind of regularly talk to probably.
You know exactly who I want.
Yeah, I know who you want, and yeah, there's
if it's a no, it's a no, but that's not to be said here live on the show. What I would like to hear is that he's going to try and he won't, and that's cool. But we're going to get whomever we can on this show. Yeah, I will tell you right now.
That individual only works with NFL films, put it that way.
So we don't intrude until we can, and I can't wait until we get and earn that opportunity. What we've already done, and not we, you, you've created a relationship with Duke that is inseparable as far as I'm concerned, because I know y'all talk a little more football than you think. And when he came out there to London, he was a close hugger.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I know those guys. I've been
talking to Duke for years. So Duke, for those who don't know, Duke Manyweather is Rashawn Slater's personal coach. So he coaches Rashawn Slater, Foster Terrell, Trey Pipkins during the offseason. I think right now he currently has
so many more non-charges, by the way. We're not just trying to rest his knowledge off of Sorrell and Pipkins.
I love Foster Terrell, always have done. But he's responsible for about $1.5 billion of NFL contracts for the guys that he coaches. So like the highest paid center, guard, and tackle in the league are all guys that work with him.
Brian said his beard is 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Listen, I already praised that motherfucker. All he did is he literally just said, "Oh, it's just good shampoo."
It's just good shampoo. I use L'Oreal Men, barbershop special. It's like, it's just a good shampoo.
I was waiting for him to say, "I can grow a great beard." Good luck, Booga. Anyway.
No, what's weird is that I cut all of this off in January, and this is all the year, all this year.
All right, I'm done shaving. I'm done shaving for a year. I'm gonna have a better beard. It's gonna be ridiculous because it's gonna be longer than everything I got. But we're gonna figure it out. This has been Bull Blitz Uncut, the weirdest, funnest, worst episode ever. In the fact that the Chargers
we're a few beers deep into this one.
Oh, so many. And I told that, by the way, I put that out there, and then I changed it. I literally said 80 and I will be sober as fuck. Just kidding. No. And then I deleted it. No. I'm on like 20 something. It's stupid. It's so dumb. I was watching the game with Kyle, and I'm literally getting refilled with doubles in this fucking giant Charger cup. So like it's a little goofy. But that being said, we're not here to fuck around with people. We try to have as much fun as we can. We try to inform you and educate you as much as we can. We're a different show. I hope that you guys find a way to fit us into your schedule. 80 has already said where you can find him. You can find me at Booga Peters. You can find us, like and subscribe on YouTube, please. All you have to do if you want to help us at all is literally like and subscribe on YouTube. It's the goofiest thing ever. Maybe tune into the show. That would be great. But if you like and subscribe on YouTube, I can start paying 80 and eventually producer Kyle. But my first priority is to pay Kyle, and Kyle or excuse me, 80. Motherfucker. This is going to be a huge fight in the group. I can't wait for it. This has been Bull Blitz Uncut. I'm going to get off air before I get myself in any other trouble. 80, thank you so much for everything you do. 35-6 loss. Chargers get embarrassed by the Jags. We've already seen this story before. It's
and
not the end of the world.
Tweeted. Emmanuel Archer 33 has just tweeted.
Don't
literally slandering Justin Herbert. Yeah. Oh, he's had that.
He's been how long was that holding in his DMs? How long was that copied and pasted just waiting?
I bet he's had that as a note saved on his iPhone for a while.
Yeah, right after Joy said, 3 minutes wasn't enough. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to Bull Blitz Uncut. This has been myself at Booga Peters, and then the man you really need to follow at ADYSIMONS 80 Simons on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Appreciate it.
Fucking hit the button, motherfucker. Stay in the studio. No, I don't want to stay in the studio. End the fucking stream.
Oh.